Hey guys, Martin here again with some very dramatic mood lighting. I'm in the middle of a parking lot having just gotten a group meal at a ramen place and my breath reeks of garlic, so thank the Lord that YouTube doesn't have a 4D smell-o-vision feature just yet, because that would be really not fun. You wouldn't want to be still here and watching this video if you could smell what's coming out of my mouth right now. But yeah, interesting week, lots of ups and downs. I just got back from a convention. What was it? MTAC, Middle Tennessee Anime Convention, which is one of our favorite conventions. It's the staff there are wonderful, the fans there are wonderful. I had a bit of an emotional experience. If you were there, you'll know. If you were there at the panel, the Q&A I did on the Friday, you know that we all had a bit of a cry. And I don't go to conventions to try and make people cry, or to try and make myself cry, or expecting to cry very often. And it happened relatively naturally this time, because somebody came up to the mic and they told me a story about their good friend who was a fan of mine, and I'd met them, both of them, at AWA in, I believe, 2009, which was my first convention appearance. Not even an appearance, I was just going there with some very close friends, and I was sat at one of the dealers' tables, the Shark Robot dealers' table, because they had the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged merchandise, and I figured, why not just, make an appearance and sell some shirts and talk to people. And that was fun. But we met a couple of fans who were cosplaying as Sims. I actually really like when people cosplay as the Sims, because it's really cute, because it's just they have the green diamond on the top of their heads, and it's simple but effective cosplay. I like it. I'm a big Sims fan, so that's also part of it. But they came by, and we had a chat, and I remember that as part of the experience, just because I'd never been to a convention in America before. That's not true. I went to one in 2000, it was a sci-fi con with the Mystery Science Theater 3000 people, right after the show had been cancelled. So I was there just to celebrate being a fan of MST3K. But this was my first convention since doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. It was my first one that I went to just as, a fan, not as LittleKuriboh, I believe. I could be wrong about that. Maybe Alcon had happened right before that, but AWA was my first big exposure to American conventions and American anime conventions. So it was a memorable experience in that regard. And so they stuck with me, I remembered a lot of those experiences, and they were very important to me. But I learned at the panel that the friend of the one that came to MTAC this weekend had committed suicide this year. And that's really stuck with me, obviously. I mean, given the subject matter of these videos, it's something. Depression is something that a lot of people come to me to talk about, and suicidal thoughts. And I've heard, obviously I've talked to people about, dealing with their depression and dealing with losing people, but I don't know if I've ever been confronted with the idea that somebody who, in the words of the young man who came and talked on the mic, Chris, I believe their name was, in the words of them, I was their hero, and they just wanted to be like me. I've never, in my mind at the least, I've never put the two ideas together, that somebody might have taken their own life, and I might have been an important part of their life. I don't even want to think of them as a fan. I mean, very likely they were, obviously, given the context, but I don't want to think of them like that. I want to think of them as a person, because it's hard for me. It's hard for me to think that somebody looked up to me and I didn't do enough positive stuff with my life, that theirs could be more positive. I don't know. That sounds wrong when I say it, but it's the thought that keeps entering my head. You know, I remember when I first started doing group therapy, I brought up the whole Robin Williams thing, and obviously his suicide is a much more complex issue than you know, a lot of people, you know, in the media talked about. But I remember thinking, you know, I don't ever want to be a person, you know, like a person in not necessarily the spotlight, but in someone's mind. I don't want to be an influential figure and then do something like kill myself and influence them to think that that's okay. You know, I understand why Robin Williams did what he did, and it was obviously a very dark day and a very dark time for him. But I don't want to willingly put somebody in the position where they look up to me and they see me kill myself, or they know that I've killed myself, or that I've hurt myself intentionally, or sometimes even that I'm depressed, and I don't want them to think that that's something that is okay, and that that's something that, you know, that, I mean, it is something that we all deal with at some point, but it's not okay. It's not something that, you know, we should be dealing with. We should be fighting. We should be fighting against it. We should be uniting against it. And I don't want you to think that, you know, this is part of what makes me who I. It is a part of me, but it's not part of what makes me the guy who wants to make you laugh, and it's not part of what makes me, you know, able to do this, or able to do any of the things I do. It's a part of me that is trying to stop, that is always trying to stop me from trying anything, from trying to make you happy, from trying to make you smile, trying to make my wife happy. It is the part of me that is constantly fighting against me. And I don't want anybody to think there's anything glamorous about depression. I don't want anybody to think that, you know, that suicide is a romantic idea. And I know, obviously, I probably didn't have that influence on this person in particular. This person, from what I can gather, they took their own life for reasons completely separate from me. But in my mind, I just keep thinking, you know, I was an influence on them. I wish I'd done more to make it clear that suicide was not the way out. It's not an escape, because nobody escaped suicide. Nobody gets away, because everybody involved deals with that pain for the rest of their lives. And I told this story, I'm sure I've told this story a million times. I told the story on the panel when they brought it up, and I after I'd hugged them and told them that if they needed anything, that I would try and be there for them. I was a shut-in. I was nothing for a long time, and I'd given up on myself. When I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I'd given up on myself completely. You know, my parents basically had to take care of me the whole time, because I wouldn't leave my room. I wouldn't allow myself to be anything more than just this you know, shut-in, this little hermit living in a bed and a chair, and just, you know, wasting their life. I'd given up, you know, and suicide was something that entered my mind a lot. But one day, there was hope. One day I was able to make a YouTube video that just made people laugh. And that's just an example. That's not something that you should, you know, that's not what everybody should aspire to do. But the point is that one day my life changed completely unexpectedly. And it gave me hope. And it gave me the ability to make people laugh and meet amazing people that I never would have known if I'd given up on myself altogether and done the thing that would have hurt everybody and would have caused all those people to cry instead of laugh. You know? So I just want to, I keep telling myself, you know, it's obviously not my responsibility. It isn't something that I had any control over, but I want to be able to spread the message that you you shouldn't give up. And if you look up to me and you see me like this, I want you to know that I will always fight. And I look up to you, if anything, if you're fighting as well. And I know you are, because you're watching this video. I look up to you. I admire you. You are my hero. And if you were to ever give up, that would hurt me. That would hurt me more than I'm hurting right now. And there would be no escape from that hurt. So, please don't give up. I just want that to be what I want more than anything. I want more than I've ever wanted to make people laugh. I want to be able to say and make you feel that you don't have to give up. That's what I want. That's what I want to do, is help you know that. In this crappy little parking lot. So, that's my message for today. And I hope that it's been any help for you, and I hope that, you know, it's helped me deal with those feelings that I've been sitting with since coming home this weekend, and I hope that you have a great week. I'm going to see Team 4-Star this weekend. I'm going to go down to Texas and go watch WrestleMania live with them, and I'm hoping. I don't even have to hope. I know I'm going to have a good time, because those guys are amazing, and they're some of the best people, and it's going to be emotional, but it's going to be good. And whatever comes, you have the ability to face it. And I'm not saying you're going to overcome everything. Nobody can overcome everything, you know, but you can face it, and you won't be alone in doing that. And please don't give up. Thank you.